Now, okay, so now that the passwords match, I think everything's pretty much set. So what we're gonna do is basically encrypt the password. So uh, encrypt, encrypt pass. We're gonna declare a new variable so we're gonna give the encrypted password to this variable right here. So we're gonna use an MD5 encryption. So just type in MD5 bracket password, and now we're gonna insert it into our database. So reg user, you can call it whatever you want, but I'm just calling it that. Make my query, so mysql underscore query, and we're gonna make it die if there's a mistake with it. Okay, now in here, one sec, let me just fix the screen for you. Okay, now so in here we're gonna say insert into, and our table was my underscore user, and our fields were ID, username, and password. And then inside there, this may seem familiar to you if you've seen my other videos. So inside this, we're gonna give them the values. We're gonna leave ID blank because it's auto increment. Then we're gonna put in username, and then so in here the username, and in here we're gonna put the encrypted password. So in encrypt underscore pass, if that's what we called it, encrypt underscore pass, yeah, that's what we called it, and our encrypted password goes there. And this should basically input the username and password into the database, and we're going to send them a little message saying you have registered, and so and then what we're going to say is, now I just realized something. Let's check, after we check the string length, let's just before we insert into the database, actually we're gonna do it before. So we're gonna strip tags up here, so tags, to make sure they didn't put in any HTML. So if they did, it's gonna be taken out, and we're gonna check for the string length after that, and then for the password we're gonna do the same thing. So, and then you have the MD5 encryption, and this should work. So let's go test it out. Okay, there must be some we must have missed something. Oh, okay, so I found our mistake here. We forgot a semicolon right about there. So I also realized another mistake. over here we forgot to check to see if a username with the same user exists. So what we gotta do is run a quick query. So we're gonna call it check user. We're gonna say MySQL underscore query. And we're gonna select star from my underscore user where username equals we have a double quote, single quote, and a double quote, and inside two dots and the username. So that's our query. Now we're gonna have an if statement. So we gotta format some stuff again. So let's move that over a bit. Okay, now right here we're gonna say if MySQL underscore num rows. This function tells you how many rows this returns. So how many, what's the result of this query? So if the result is nothing, because we declared that select star from users, so select the data from my users where the username equals the same username. So if the username doesn't equal the same username, then we can conclude that that username doesn't exist. So if MySQL num rows check user, so if the number of rows returned from this query, which is check user, is less than 1, because it's more than or equal to 1, that means it exists already. So if it's less than 1, then do that. So do the rest of the code, or else echo out username already exists. Okay, now after we've done that, we should be good to go. So okay, we've probably made a mistake somewhere else now, so let's check it out. Okay, so I found out that our mistake was that we forgot to close out that if statement right here, right above the else statement. So I added that in. Okay, now this should work now. So there we go. So let's give a username of John, a password of, we'll call the password PHP 101, PHP 101, submit. The username is too short. Remember, our username was to be 5 characters or more. I think actually 4 characters should be good. So we'll change this to 4. Okay. And now slow the page again. So we'll say John, and our password is going to be PHP 101, PHP 101, submit. It says our table does not exist, and I just realized why. Because our table name is actually my users, not my users. So there we go. Let's go back. PHP 101, PHP 101, submit. Now it says the username field doesn't exist. Okay. Okay, so our username field was actually called user, so we'll change that to username. My apologies for these mistakes. So username, if you go back here, we'll call this John, PHP 101, PHP 101, submit. You have registered. If you go here and reload, you can see I have a username with ID 1, the username was John, and our password is in PHP 101. It's encrypted into an MD5 encryption to something like this. So that worked out nice. Now let's just check to make sure all our validation works. So we'll say John PHP, and we'll just leave it at PHP and PHP. It should say it's too short. Oh, well, we can't use John because it already exists. So let's say Apple, and we'll say PHP, PHP. Password is too short. So let's say Apple, and let's say PHP 101, and then we'll just call this PHP 123. The passwords do not match. Okay, so that if we correct everything and we say the password is, for example, HEY123, HEY123, submit, you have registered, and another user comes up and their password is also encrypted, and this worked out perfectly. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we covered everything. In my future videos, um, we're gonna be doing like validation of email addresses and checking to make sure the users use the correct characters in their username and such. And yeah, we're gonna be doing that. And in my next video, it's gonna be a login system. So the users that register through this registration script that we made can now log in. So we're gonna be doing that in the next video, so stay tuned, and thanks for watching.